Yes, thanks Claudinho, thanks Timon, thanks Studio for setting this up. Well, my name is Xander Kotvis. I'm the Revolution Manager of Digital and a couple of other festivals as well. And I'm very happy that we're able to do this today instead of the real digital festival, which of course would have been a very special edition, 2020, a circular edition, killer lineup, and we were really looking forward to do it this year, but unfortunately, things went a little different. I really hope that you guys are all safe, that you're all healthy, and still thanks for tuning in. And what I'm going to be talking about today is I'm going to be talking about the Revolution program, which is the sustainability program of Digital Festival. And in particular, I'm going to be guiding you through the way in which we actually set the goal, the overarching goal, which is to be a circular festival. Number two, I'm going to be also talking about how to create a strategy and a roadmap from this overarching goal. And then I'm going to be guiding you through a couple of really practical examples of how we actually go from theory and goals and strategies to real projects and interventions, as we call them in practice. So I think it's a really exciting program for today, and let's kick it off. So I'm going to be sharing my screen so that you guys can see a couple things that I want to show you. Let me see, share screen. I think you can see my screen now. Yep. Does it work? Can I see some thumbs up? Yes, nice. All right, I like this. This is cool. This is different, but it's nice. Okay, so digital, as I already said. Let's get into it. First of all, thanks again. Stay healthy. Watch yourself. Stay stay inside if you can, and despite the nice weather in the Netherlands, keep yourself at home and think about some other people as well. And stay strong, stay positive. We will get out of this stronger, harder, faster, harder, stronger, and faster. So yeah, let's kick it off. Let's cut right to the chase. Let's talk about Digital 2020, a fully circular festival. What actually does it really mean, and how did we get to this particular goal? But first of all, I want to show you something before we head into what we do ourselves and show you why we actually pursue this particular road, and why do we want to use our festival as some sort of a utopia or some sort of a future vision of what the world or what cities or what festivals could look like. And it basically comes from it's intrinsic motivation, but it's also taking into account that externally we see a lot of things happening around us. And I want to show you this visual first that I really like to show. It's a visual that counts down from, or counts up from 1880 to now. And whenever you see a blue ball, it means that the average temperature is 2 degrees below average that year in a country. And if it's if it's a red ball, then it means that it's 2 degrees warmer than average in that year. So just wanted to show you that first. So yeah, now you see that we ended up in 2017, which actually you can see almost all orange, yellow, and reddish balls, which means that temperature is rising at an alarming rate. And we've also seen that the world has been on fire in a couple years with the forest fires and everything. It's really starting to get real serious, and we need to get together and act. This is another visual that I quickly wanted to show you, which actually shows you the rate, or actually the world population growth from 1700 till 2100, which is a projection, of course. And what you see is that We're now at in 2020 we're at 7.7 billion people. Projections are that 2050 we're with 9.7 billion, which is almost 10. It's going to be super crowded, really busy. And also, I want to show you this. This is another really interesting visual, Earth Overshoot Day, you might know it. What it actually visualizes is the day for every country when humanity's demand for ecological resources and services in a given year exceeds what the Earth can generate within 1 year. So, for example, Qatar, Luxembourg, the United Arabs, in May or March, I mean, already they use so many resources that in March, actually, it's already done for that year. So if the whole world would live like Qatar, then in February, we would use all the resources that are available for 1 year and that Earth can regenerate in 1 year. So it's really alarming, and if we combine those two visuals together, population growth, Earth Overshoot Day, temperature rising, they're really, a couple bells should really be ringing now. We simply cannot go on like this, extracting resources and using the Earth as our like playground and something we have control over. So from there on, we go, okay, what can we do? It's time for change. How do we do it? And actually, what we do with digital, with the festival itself, we work in 5 different steps, or actually 7. I added a couple just for fun. One is we set a goal and we set an ambition, which is for digital pretty simple. It's to be the first circular festival. Then from that goal, we actually say, okay, let's do a baseline measurement of our festival. So we want to know exactly in terms of numbers and data which resource flows, like energy, water, and materials flow through our festival. Then from there on, we know exactly, oh, these are the impacts and these are the flows that we need to work on for this year. And from there on, we create a roadmap and we execute a couple projects really well. Yeah, so that's when we go from interventions to party. Yeah, we party, 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 party. Of course, that's what we do at digital. And afterwards, we monitor the progress. So we also look at how did our projects actually have a difference, and what was the result? Did we actually gain something? Did we have a good result or not? And do we need to change in the coming year? So then we repeat this this cycle. Okay, then from our couple steps program, I'm just going to go through all the different steps with really tangible examples. And it basically starts with setting the goal and setting the ambition, which is a circular festival. But then you start asking questions like, what is a circular festival actually, you know? And before you have such a goal, you need to know where you are going. So we've spent quite some time, actually, ever since the start of the Revolution program in 2013. We've been tweaking and developing, this sort of understanding of what a circular festival should be and what the relevance is of a circular festival. It's basically a tiny little, or not even tiny, it's a small society, it's a village. I come from a little village called Harmelen, it's close to Utrecht in the Netherlands, and it counts like 9,000 or 10,000 people. Well, think quick, digital has like 45,000 people, so it's larger than the village that I come from. So it's really a small society, and you can really play with it as much as you can, as much as you like, and it's like a small society. So it opens up a whole range of possibilities. What is a circular festival? Actually, we chose a definition of the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, which is that we strive for an ecosystem that actually designs out waste and pollution, keeps materials in the loop as long as possible, and it also regenerates its natural systems. And from there on, we actually extracted 6 different topics or themes, as we call them, or systems that actually consist of a circular festival. And you see them here in the screen. It's energy, it's resource efficiency, plastics, travel and transportation, water, and food. And as you can also see in this visual, you also have you have one overarching goal within all these different themes. And that's actually also what we aim for during the beginning and the preparation phase of the year. We just set one goal. For energy, for example, it's all energy needs to come from renewable energy sources, like the wind or solar or other renewable energy sources. For resource efficiency, we say that materials are cycled at the highest possible value, and residual waste, restafval in Dutch, does not exist. There's someone dancing behind the screen. Nice. I like it. um, Travel and transportation. The goal there is really simple. Greenhouse gas emissions from transportation movements are eliminated. So these are the types of goals that you have to think of within these themes. And then you can already see that it's becoming pretty clear what we go for. And actually, the roadmap also comes from this structure with these different themes. I also talked about the baseline measurement, and I want to show you something that I think is really important, which is called a material flow analysis. And what it does, it actually visualizes and it maps all the different materials like water, energy, drinks, infrastructure, consumption materials, and food flowing in from left to right. So you have to read it from left to right. And then after the festival, that flows out. So it's sort of a mapping of all the stocks and flows of materials flowing in and out. And from there on, you just know right away, because all the different flows are also relatively visualized, you can see exactly which impacts are the largest and where you need to focus on in the coming years to really make a change and change your ecosystem and your metabolism. We do this together with Metabolic, by the way, which is a consultancy from Amsterdam. Big shout out to them, helping us with our data management and visualizing our flows. And from here on, we also create the roadmap. So we pick a couple of flows of which we say, hey, these are too big. For example, we could choose one from this visual, like emissions, which is on top in the middle column. You can see that there's still 15 tons of CO2 emissions left. For 2019, that was the case. For 2020, that needed to be 0. So from there on, we draw the roadmap on certain different topics. That's how we work. Really interesting. I personally find this the very most important step within any sustainability or circularity strategy. First, before you start doing anything, don't shoot from the hip. Really know where you are coming from. Then I want to go to the next slide. Oh man, I would have loved to stand on the digital terrain now, but this is fun too. Are you guys liking it until now? Is it good? Some thumbs up? Yes? Nice. Cool. Yeah, from there on, so we had some hard cut, or we had the goals and ambitions, we had the roadmap, baseline measurement, and now I just, because we have only 20 minutes for this talk, I will just go into a couple very practical examples of what we do at the festival terrain as well, to go from theory and go from mission and vision to real projects that people on the terrain actually see happening. So the first one that I think, if you have been to digital, you must have seen this. It's the hard cup. It's the replacement of the single-use disposable soft cup, which people use for a couple seconds, depending on how fast you drink, and then you just chug it. You just throw it away. You toss it, which is a big waste of materials and a big waste of precious resources that we just throw away. So this is a very important one of our first projects, still in the game. It's a big game changer. It changes people's perception of how you use your materials. Then the next one I just want to tell you about, and by the way, all these examples that I'm giving now, I'm not going into them too deeply because there's the lineup of speakers today are also going to be talking about these topics. So don't worry if you want to know more about these topics. I can tell you as well. You know, we have a Q&A, but there's also someone else who's going to be talking about these topics as well. Energy, also a really important topic and an important theme. With regard to the smart energy plan or energy in general, we are really ambitious. So a part of I think I hear someone talking. Could you maybe that this is just a household remark or request? Could you mute your microphone while we are talking because then it all runs smoothly. Thanks. And the Q&A is afterwards, so you can ask some questions in a couple minutes. I think in 8 minutes. So all good. In terms of energy, we always strive for a climate neutral energy system, which means that the energy system doesn't emit any greenhouse gas emissions. So during build and break and during show time, our energy system cannot run anymore on fossil fuels. So no diesel, no benzene, those sorts of things really need to be eliminated. It's a hard task. Uh, it's I think no one has ever done it completely, mm, but it's actually it's really doable. And in the coming years, I think that a lot of um, organizations are really gonna succeed in reaching an energy and climate neutral energy plan. And at Digital 2020, so this edition, we would have been for us it would have been the first time that we could run the whole show without diesel generators. So we were planning to do the whole show on smart on the energy grid of Amsterdam. So it's just the grid that's already there on the NDSM wharf, which is powered by which comes from wind energy, so it's completely renewable. So the whole show would actually have been running on renewable energy, which is I think amazing. Paul, he's gonna also come later on today. He's gonna be talking about energy all the time, so really asking questions. Food court, also a really cool project and a really important system because food, wow, um, brings us a lot of joy, but also brings a lot of um, it's a system. The food system is a system that also comes with a great impact, an ecological impact. So for many products that we eat every day, such as cheese or hamburgers or whatever, uh, a lot of resources like land, water are used, but also you emit a lot of greenhouse gas emissions as well. So it's a massive yeah, it's a massive area to make progress. So what we do with Circular Food Court every year, we try to take a couple steps. We went from a vegetarian food court in 2016 to a circular food court in 2018, which actually meant that we started composting all the residual organic flows like plates and food and everything. And last year we took the next step by actually using food waste from others, so residual food, imperfect foods from others, to build our menus with. So actually we wanted to have a minimum of 30% of our menu to be consisting of residual flows from other food chains, simply because 30% of all our food in the world every year is wasted, which is yeah, an unbelievable fact actually. This is also pretty fun. The hamburgers were totally plant-based, and this burger was actually made from a residual flow from one of the caterers who gathered brown beans all year long, and he frees them, turns them into burgers for Digital, and then uses this residual flow for his own burgers at Digital. So it's so cool what happens, and this is just the beginning, you know. And actually, the food court for 2020 was really promising. Actually, was 100% plant based, which is a really cool next step. Then one of the final remarks that I want to make is that in a circular festival like Digital, waste actually does not exist anymore. Also, the word waste, we don't even use it. We actually just only talk about resources. They are materials that can be reused for another purpose. So what we also do is that we create a couple of resource storage and resource collection points on the festival terrain, front stage, and we use those stations to gather different monoflows such as glass, hard cups, paper, these types of things. We clean them there with volunteers, and then they are being, you know, bundled and transported over to the next owner of these materials. Uh, final slide I just want to show you is one really cool project that I was really impressed with last year. Um, this is the iconic bow of containers on the NDSM wharf, and we had a collaboration with Ace and Tate, and Ace and Tate is an eyewear producer, so they make glasses, spectacles, and in the process, they lose many different lenses just because they're just not right, or when people their eyes change as well, they need to have new glasses as well. And all these glasses they gather, but they just don't do anything with it. There's no purpose. So they actually said, let's do something with it together. And we came up with this really cool art project. So we also make art, which I think is really pretty, from what other people would see as waste, which actually is a symbolic way of us telling that what can be waste for one can be a resource and something really beautiful for others. So yeah, this was just in like super high pace everything that we do at the festival and how we go from setting the vision to creating systems, creating roadmaps, and actually making things happen. And I am really proud that we're doing this every single year. And I really want to encourage everyone to keep on being interested in these types of topics. Thanks again for tuning in. I think we have one more minute, so I'm going to wrap it up as well. Um, Guys, stay healthy. Take care of yourself and the people around you, your family. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And let's get out of this way better, way stronger. And thanks again. Have a good Easter weekend.
Okay, Xander, thank you for your talk.
We're gonna do the Q&A, of
Of
course.
course,
Jeez, I
don't
almost
forget the
forgot, man.
Q&A.
Yep.
So you can see the audience, but unfortunately you cannot see me. But
I will stop sharing my screen, by the way.
yes, please.
Yep.
Can you also see the audience? Maybe they can give a thumbs up if they can hear me properly. Do they hear me?
I can see the audience, yes.
Do they hear me?
Yeah, they put their thumbs up.
All right, that's perfect. So first of all, thank you for your talk, of course. As I mentioned during the start, as I introduced Xander, there will be also some room for a live Q&A. So I will be reading the questions from the chat. But this is a good time to mention that these lectures, these talks, will be broadcasted tomorrow during Digital at our own Revolution stage. So as you may already know, Digital is an online festival, so it brings Digital 2020 to your living room. So for the people that are going to ask questions in the chat, be aware of the fact that the people will also hear what you're asking, just so you know. But I won't say your name, of course. All right, Xander. I do have some questions forwarded to me. I would like to know, how did you get to become the Revolution Manager of Digital?
Good question. Um, well, actually, it's a pretty funny story. I studied international business administration, a bachelor at the VU, Vrije Universiteit in Amsterdam. Then I did a master's degree in environment and resource management, did some philosophy in between, and actually got to realize that especially economical theories are pretty old-fashioned, and it really actually sort of elicits and promotes overexploitation of Earth's resources and economic growth as the only indicator of how well we are doing, which I think is incomplete. And we need a different type of set of, we need a different lens to look at the economy and how we interact with the planet around us. So I actually started looking for internships and things I could do. So I went to ADE Green in 2017. I saw Nadine Galle from Metabolic, which is the consultancy I talked about, speak about digital. And so I immediately thought, okay, I need to work at this consultancy. Then I applied, I got in. And during this internship, one of the jobs they were doing was to do this MFA for Digital Festival. So I said, I want to do this project. I want to do the MFA of digital. So I got to do it. And yeah, it was a really nice project. And then it really got me to know everything about digital from the inside and outside in terms of data and goals and everything. Finished my internship, and then after the internship, my predecessor at Revolution, he left, and then they asked me to join. So it's actually a really funny story. I think it was meant to be.
Nice, thank you. Thank you for answering, of course. And now we know you a little better. Besides, yeah, digital, we know more of digital. We know more of you. So that's interesting, of course. And I do have another one for you. This one is pretty tricky. Seeing the yeah everything that's going on in the world right now. But how do you see the future of the festivals in terms of sustainability?
Yeah, it's a harder question, more complex question, but it's a good question, very valid. And in terms of sustainability for festivals, I would see it, or in general, actually, I think this crisis is, of course, the most important thing at this moment. But actually, what you see happening as well is that many individuals, organizations, but also countries are taking this time to take a step back and rethink what they are doing. And also in March, what you have seen maybe is that the European Union, the European Commission, actually came out with they published their European Green Deal, which is a very ambitious circular economy plan for the European Union. And countries within Europe are also going to be working underneath that Green Deal, which is really good. We've seen the city of Amsterdam promoting really ambitious circular economy programs. So, we could have been sitting back and only talking about misery, but actually a lot of really important institutions are taking this moment to setting their vision for the years to come after this crisis, which I think is really, really powerful and really hopeful. So that will also trickle down to organizations such as digital, but also the event sector. So I think will only get us out harder, better, and faster and stronger. As I just said, this is the moment to regroup and to set new visions. So it's gonna explode after this.
Thank you. That's a very clear answer. And if I look at a time, I think maybe right now it's a good time for the people from the chat. In case they want to ask something, now is your time. Otherwise, in case they're a little bit shy, I have another one.
Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
All right. So I have a question. So let me see. Yeah, there's one question in the chat, and the question is: in a music festival, usually people don't care about anything else rather than just having fun. How have assistants been reacting to the sustainability actions during digital festival?
Assistance or
Yeah, like how do the people react to the sustainability actions we take
so
during the
visitors?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
can you say in general how do they react to it?
yeah, for sure. Well, I think the sustainability program and the projects that we run are a mix of very high profile, super visual projects, but also very, I would say, underground kind of structural, less visible projects. So um, in the beginning, in 2015 or 13 and 14, it were like small scale but very visible projects, and people could interact, and they love it, of course, because it's the future. But nowadays, we see in 2018, 2019, and now 20, the changes are less visible. So also people notice them less and less and less. And also think about the hard cup system, or think about the circular food court with going from vegetarian to plant-based to no disposables. We try to make these transitions as easy and smooth as possible so that they are good replacements of the current system. And I think whenever you succeed to find this seamless transition, then people will be like really, really enthusiastic and convinced that this is actually something that could work. It's an answer. So it's more like a total experience that people go home with actually after the event. And I think that is really powerful. So I hope that answers your question.
All right. Thank you so much. Is there another question maybe?
Please shoot questions. Now is the time.
Ah, all right. I like this one as well. So this one I'm curious if you do know the answer. Somebody's asking, how many volunteers per day does digital have? Do you know that?
Per day.
Per day.
I should know this.
You should. Tell me.
Well, Timo is going to be talking about it later today, but I want to answer this question because I think I know it, but I could be totally off. I think during one day at Digital 2020, we would have 400 people working
At one day?
at one day.
Well,
Is it right or is it wrong?
stay tuned for the answer, guys.
Cliffhanger, man.
Stay tuned for the answer. Timo will share the answer, of course.
Yeah.
And I will take one final look. I think, if I look at the time, this is it, unfortunately. But guys, later on, we will obviously thank you for the fact that you watched Xander's talk. And if you have some more questions, we also can either forward our email address or yours directly. So if you have more questions, I will make sure you know how to reach Xander. So just to round it up, Xander will leave the meeting room, and I will be back, and I will just tell you guys who's the next speaker and at what time we start again. So please stay in the room with us. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Stay healthy.